Hey everybody, Heather here. So today we're going to be coloring this Tilda with Slingshot, this cute Magnolia image. Isn't she adorable? Love her. This was a card kit in the store. I'm sorry she's already sold out, so if you didn't get a kit, you missed this one, but make sure to check out all the other kits I have available over there. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I did this zipper. So if you bought the kit, wait till the end or fast forward if you don't want to watch all the coloring, and I will show you how I did the little zipper thing. So I've already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So let's color. Okay, so let's start out by outlining our image, and for that I'm going to use C2, C1, C0, B01, and my colorless blender. I'm going to start out with C2, and I'm just going to go all the way around my girl and add some dots. So I'm just going to take my pen and randomly dot along. Make sure to get into some of these spaces that there's background showing through. But I'm just quickly going up and down with my pen and adding some little dots along the outside. And the quicker you go, the smaller your dot. If you go really slow, the minute you touch your pen to the paper, it's sucking up ink, so that your dots are going to be bigger. And this is just a random background, so you can make them as big or as small as you like. There's no right or wrong way to do it. We're just going to go all the way around. And I go close to her, but I also want to put some kind of out here in the outside a little bit, like that. Next I'm going to grab C1, and I just go all the way around again. And I don't care that my dots touch some of the other dots, but I also try to put some more. I don't want to just go right over the top of the dots I already added. I want to add more dots. But by touching some of the other dots, you're also blending those. We'll just work our way around. Add some in here until you get to the other side. That. And then you're going to grab C1 and exactly the same thing. Just start down here at the bottom, work your way around, pull some dots out further, mount closer, and I forgot to go in this little space, so let me grab a couple in there. And again, my dots are touching some of all the other dots, and some are not. And you can make your dots go as far out as you want to. So if you want your background to go way out here, that's perfect. So next we're going to go with B01. And this is just to add a little bit of blue to her background here. You could also do, if you wanted to keep it with the color scheme that I used for her her shirt, you could add, instead of B01, you could go with R000. I just wanted to add some blue, so. But a lot of times when I'm doing the dots, I will do some color that's related to something she's wearing. So if she's got a yellow outfit, I try to put some kind of yellow dots. Or if she's got a purple outfit, I would pick a purple color. And then we'll just work our way around. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then now I take my colorless blender. I did all of that first so that I could take my colorless blender, and it doesn't matter if I accidentally got some on her. Now I could erase it, but I'm just going to take my colorless blender and go like this, and see how I can just color right on her. It doesn't matter. and this will smush all of those colors kind of together and blend them out. Like so. So next, let's go ahead and work on the ground, and for that I'm going to use G94, G82, and G12. I'm going to start with my G94. Let's see if we can go in a little bit here. And so I like to start with my background, or my ground, up further than the bottom of her shoe. So I'm just going to go just like that. And same for this side. I want to go past her shoe. I'm going to kind of go right around her shoe there so I don't color it on accident. Sometimes I get a little crazy with my coloring. And then I'm going to grab G82 and I go right over the top of that color and brush past. And you can go again as far out as you want. I'm going to make this side go just a little bit further since she's got her slingshot there. And then I'm going to take G12 and again go right over the top. And your piece is going to be smaller because it's cut out with the Spellbinder die, and I didn't cut mine out. I just stamped her on a piece, and I cut her out later so I can put her in my Project Life book. So this is G94, and I like to use the darkest color again just to go back and add some darker shadows in there because they get kind of washed out. And this is just personal preference. So next, let's work on our skin, and for that we're going to use E11, E21, E00, E000. For our cheeks, I'm going to use R43, R20, and R30. And I'm going to go ahead and start down here on her leg, and for that I'm going to start with E11. And I want my shadows to be, she's got some great dots already on her leg, so I'm going to use those. Just go down the inside of her leg, and she's got this little knee right here. I want to kind of accent that a little bit. And then for this leg, I'm going to go under her skirt, and again down the back of her leg. And I kind of pulled it in a little bit right there because the dots go in a little bit more, and then her knee. And then we're going to grab E21, and I touch down on top of my E11, and then I lightly flick away from that color. Turn my girl a little bit here. And pull that color out just a little bit more. And then we're going to grab E00. And this side is so small, I'm going to fill that all the way in. And let's go with this side. I'm going to leave just a little bit of white over here. And after that, I'm going to use E000 to fill that in. Okay, and then let's go up here and we'll do her arms. And again, I'm going to start with E11. And so for this arm, let's go ahead and go right along the bottom. I'm going to pull it in a little bit right there for her wrist. And she's got her little elbow down here. Like that, and then right here in the crook of her arm, I'm going to get a little bit of shadow. And then for this arm, I'm going to go up here like this. And then for her hand, let's go ahead and do right along her face here too. Like that. And I think I'll do just a little bit up here where her hand is holding the slingshot. Then we're going to grab E21. We're just going to work our way right along that line. Just soften that edge. And E00. Work our way around here. And I'm going to cover this part of her arm up. And same for this little section here next to her face. And let's just leave her thumb up there for that one. And then E000 to fill it in. That looks good. So now let's go do her face and her neck. So grab E11. I'm going to go right next to her. She's got a little bit of a neck showing right there, so we'll do that. And then over here, she's got some dots on her face, so I'm going to start with my E11 right there. And she's got a little curly Q there, so I'm going to avoid that. And we're going to come down along the side, and let's bring this cheek like this. And go around her ear a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to go with E21. I'm going to go ahead and make this connect with this dot. And brush this color down along here. And I want to fill in her neck. I'm going to grab E00. And then E000. And don't worry that her face looks a little blotchy, because I'm going to go over her face again after I add her cheek color. So now I'm going to grab R43, and I use the dots that are already on her face as my guide. And then R20. And I'm just touching the edges and flicking away so it softens those up just a little bit. And then R30. Okay, now I want to take my E21 again, and I'm going to go right along the edge. That cheek, and then E00. Brush right over the top there. And then E000, I just go over the whole thing. So if you have any lines, this will help blend those in. I got a little bit right here at the top of her face, so let's scrub that a little bit more. And then after you get all done, if you think her cheeks have lightened up too much, you just go over those again. But I think mine look good, so I'm going to leave them like that. So next, let's do her hair. And for that, we're going to use E35, E53, and E50. I'm going to start with E35. Let's start down here at the bottom of her little pigtail. And we're just going to add some shadows. And let's get the back of this curly Q. And then let's do this where it's kind of curving around to the back. And same with this one, it looks like it's kind of going, she's got a little line there, it looks like it's pulling out from underneath. Like so, I think that looks pretty good. And then let's do, this line looks like it still continues up where it's coming out from underneath of her hair, so I'm going to add a little bit in there. And then I want to flick away from that line so that I can get some strands of hair in there. Let's do the same thing up here. And let's bring this line here, looks like it's still underneath, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that one all the way up to the top of that line. And next I want to do her crown of her head. So I'm just using her little part she's got there. And then for this side, same thing, I want to go away from her little part. And then over here, where it looks like it's tucking underneath, I want to add a little bit of streaks in there. And then this little section right next to her face. Okay, I'm liking that. So now you're going to grab E53, and you just want to add some more color. So I go right over the top of the color I already put down. And let's just add some more streaks in there. Get this little section there behind her hair. And then go up here to the crown of her head. And this side. Leave a little bit of white there. And then we're going to fill it in with E50. So I go down here at the bottom, and we're just going to rub over the whole thing and just fill in that white space. You can also leave some white if you like that. I just never like how it looks, so I always fill it all the way in. And then after I've got her all colored, I like to go back with my darkest color, which is E35, and add some of those shadows back in. And again up here at the crown of her head. And usually my streaks go farther than they went the first time. Turn her a little bit more here. So next, let's work on our shirt, and for that we're going to use R89, R39, and R29. I'm going to start with R89 and give it some shadows. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do the front of her shirt because she's got her arm hanging out there. We're going to go underneath of her arm. And we'll bring it under here, underneath of her sleeve, and along the back of her sleeve right here. Okay, so I need my line to go in a little bit more so I can soften it. So I'm going to go ahead and flick away from that edge just a little. And then for the back here, she's got some little wrinkles. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing back here. Bring that up. And then for the front right here, let's do right along the seam. I'm being very careful, just using the tip of my pen. And I want to do right up here on the shoulder a little bit. And then for her sleeve, I want to give some of these little bumps a little bit more definition. So I'm going to bring my lines up here. And let's do this one. And just fill those in just a little bit. Okay, I'm liking that, so I'm going to leave that. Then I'm going to grab R39. I'm going to go back down here at the bottom. And let's brush that towards the center a little bit more. Let's go up here and do the top. And I want to leave a little bit for my other red, so I'm going to just brush that just a tiny bit. And then for each of these little bumps I've added, I want to extend those. And I also want to go along the edge of each of these, the bottom of her sleeves. And I think that I will bring this color along the back of her shirt. And I'm going to pull that in just a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next I'm going to grab R29 and I want to fill it in. So let's just go down here and fill in the bottom. And I brushed clear over the top of all the previous colors. over here. Careful not to get it on her face. I'm being very careful. Me and red, I don't know what it is with red, but I always seem to make a mess. So now let's do her undershirt here, and for that I'm going to use E42 and E41. I'm going to do my E42 first. She's got some little dots here, so I'm going to add some shadow right underneath of her shirt. And then I'm just going to fill that in with E41. Nothing fancy. And then let's jump up here and do our slingshot. And for that we're going to use E44 and E43. So I'm going to start with my E44. And I'm just going to go over some of these lines that are on the stick. And she's got a little dab showing there at the bottom. And then I'm going to fill it in with E43. And then for the string, I'm going to use E41. She's got some little ties right here. I'm just going to brush over those. The little wrappers there. Now let's go down here and work on her boots. And for that, we're going to use E44, E43, E42, and E41. I'm going to start with my E44 first. And I'm going to add some shadows along the back of this boot. That. I'm going to go right, I'm going to add a little bit of a sole kind of right here. And then we're going to do the front of this boot a little bit, and same thing, I'm going to kind of extend that line and give it a little bit of a sole. And just got a couple little lines already right here, so let's go ahead and color those in a little bit. And a little line right here. And then I want to go right up the inside of this second boot. Like that. Let's give this a little shadow right there in the crease. And then I'm going to grab E43 next. I'm going to brush right on top of this second boot where I laid down my color. And just bring that line out a little bit more. Not too much because I want to leave a little bit of space there. Okay, and then for this boot, we're going to bring this line out. Oops. And bring this line over, connect it to this line. And I'm going to brush along the bottom of the sole here. Got that. And I'm going to grab E42. Just work my way down and soften that line. And then I'm going to go over the entire, both boots with my E41. And soften all that all together. So that leaves us with her skirt, and for that we're going to use W7, W5, W3, and W1. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my W7. And let's add some shadows. Turn my girl a little bit. So I want to go right underneath of this cute little shirt she's got. And if you don't use your W7 very much, make sure to pull the other end. If it's really wet, pull the other cap off so you won't get a big blob. The darker colors I don't use that much, so sometimes helps if I just pull the cap off. And let's go down this seam like that. And then I also want to go down the front of her skirt like this. But I'm going to go ahead and bring that out. So let's extend this a little bit. And I'm just going to flick away from my line so I can soften that edge just a little bit more. Like that. Oh, and I better do her fanny here too, because her hair is hanging on it. And like so. And then we're going to grab W5. And we're going to brush right over the top of that W7. And pull it out just a little bit more. And this side. I'm going to do this side right here. I forgot about that little seam. Okay, and then I'm going to grab W3. I'm going to fill this pocket all the way in. And then we're just going to brush this side a little bit more. Like that. And then I go over the entire thing with my W1. This side a little bit better. And there's our skirt. So that is our Slingshot Tilda all colored up. Isn't she super cute? So now let's do the zipper. Whoops, before we do the zipper, I forgot to do my Sharpie paint pen because I added some dots to her shirt. So I'm going to take my white Sharpie paint pen and I shook it with the lid on. And then I'm just going to add a couple little dots for her cheek. And then I randomly added some dots down here on her shirt. And just add as many or as few as you would like. Okay, so for the zipper, you got this little, I took the little dot piece of paper, and then you got the little zipper, and I'm just going to take the little zipper part off and set it over here. But I took my zipper and I decided where I wanted to put it on the paper, and I wanted to make sure it was down underneath of this, so I made sure that the ends were not sticking off the top. And just, you know, turn it however you want, kind of see how you want it, and I wanted mine to be kind of at the top, but at an angle. So I stuck it on here like that, and then I took a pencil, and I just drew right on there like that, and then I lifted this little tab up, and I drew, and of course it's on a black square. So I'm going to draw a little X in there and draw a little line around there so that I can see it because it's right on top of this little circle. And then I took my scissors and I'm going to just cut this V out just to get me started. Take this little V, cut it like that, pull that off. Like so. And then I'm going to take this and I want to kind of temporarily adhere it to the back, so I'm going to take some temporary adhesive and just put a little dab right here and kind of stick it down here for a minute like that so I can kind of see. Whoops, I should have. That's why I've got temporary adhesive. I need to cut down to this little X here just a little bit, so I know where I'm going to rip. So go down to the little box you made. Okay, now take this and stick it temporarily on here, and then I want this little tab to come up over the top. So let me grab that and kind of see where it's at right here. Okay, so I want my zipper, oops, let me put that back down. I want it to be, my zipper to come out, I'm sorry about that, out here. So I'm going to kind of take my finger, you could take a ruler or whatever you have, and I'm just going to kind of fold it up so I can see where the zipper is right here. So I kind of took it like this, and I'm going to crease it like this. And then I'm just going to rip it off. So I've got my ripping. I know, technical jargon. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to take this side, same thing. I'm going to kind of lift it up and see where my zipper is. Whoops. Okay, and I want it to come back like that. I'm going to rip it over here just a little bit more. I want my zipper to show, so I'm again take it like that, and then I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to rip right down the side there. Okay, like that. But I need this little flap to be up, so let's rip it a little bit more here on this side. Okay, go like that. Okay, so now I'm going to flip the little flapper up so I can make sure it's on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So next, I'm going to take it off of here. I'm just going to rub my temporary adhesive off. And I'm going to take some liquid glue. And I'm just going to run a little bit of liquid glue down these little dots here. Like that. And then I'm going to stick it back on there. Let me flip my little tab up. Whoops, getting glue everywhere. Like that. Okay, I'm going to get it positioned here. Sort of like, okay, I'm liking that. Okay, like that. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down. And then I'm going to take my little zipper piece right here, and we're going to put that on here. And then I took a little bit of glue. Whoops, I put the lid back on. Good job, Heather. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my little tab here. And slide your zipper piece up. And then stick this down like that. And you might need to hold it a little bit for a second there. And then just to rough this up while I'm holding that down, just to rough this edge up, I just took my fingernail and ran it along the side here and just kind of curled up some of this paper after it dried a little bit. It makes it a lot easier if you let the paper dry to your zipper. And then same thing for this side. I wanted it to kind of curl up a bit, so I just took my fingernail. You could use the end of a paintbrush, whatever you can use to rough up the edges there. And I just did it like so. And then I can flip this as free. But nothing too complicated. I tried to not make it too difficult, but that's how I got my zipper onto my piece of paper. So here is the finished card. Whoops. Go up a little bit. So here is the finished card, and isn't she adorable? But I hope you had fun coloring with me today. I'm sorry this kit was already gone, but make sure to head over to the store and check out the other kits or dyes, paper. There's lots of other stuff in the store if you're not interested in buying a kit. I would love for you to come shop with me. So we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.